Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi. So today we'll be talking about the PTDF Overseas Postgraduate Scholarships. So if you are a Nigerian, you're probably aware of the PTDF Postgraduate Scholarship that is all open every year, always around this time every year. So today we'll be talking about the PTDF Overseas Postgraduate Scholarship. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Dr. Bolale Solumadewusi for those who don't know me. So I'm the lead coach at the Scholarship Wiz. And today I'm bringing over on my friend who will be joining us live, Dr. Bilkisu Mohamed Bello, to actually join us today to talk about our experience, the application process, and the benefits of the PTDF Overseas Postgraduate Scholarship. So if you'll be applying this year, I have the deadline is 24th of March. I know it's kind of close, but definitely there's still some enough time to learn about the process and how to improve your application. So I have with me today Dr. Bilkisu Mohamed Bello. Dr. Bilkisu, can you try to join us? Okay, let me invite you. Okay, so what is PTDF? Well, I know PTDF means Petroleum Technology Development Fund, but definitely we'll be glad to have Dr. Bilkisu to give us more details about the PTDF scholarship, what it means. Dr. Bilkisu, we can see the table. Okay, we can see your face now.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello, Bola.
Hi, thank you
Good
for.
to see your face.
Yeah, same here. Good to see your face. Your face looks is glowing actually. Yes, it's so good to see her. So I and Dr. Bilkisu, both of us we were at the University of Manchester.
Yeah,
So Dr. Bilkisu and I were in the same class actually.
that's
we
very
studied
correct.
the master's program in advanced computer science and information technology management together.
Mm.
And trust me when I say when I think of efficiency, she comes first to my mind because she's very efficient, and no wonder she's been able to win 2 graduate scholarships. She won PTDF to come to Manchester, and then she won the Japanese MEC scholarship. When I first started the scholarship quiz in 2020, she was, in fact, you were my very first guest on this platform. I brought her to talk about the Japanese MEC scholarship, the process, how she had to learn Japanese and all. And even before then, she had won the PTDF scholar because when I met her in Manchester, she was already a scholar. And yes, she is now. She's a university lecturer. So I would actually hand it over to her to introduce herself briefly, and then we'll start the whole talk about the PTDF scholarship. So over to you, Dr. Bilkisu.
Okay. Thanks, Bola. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear her?
Okay.
Please let us know in the
So
comments section.
I'm Dr. Bilkisu Mohamed Bello. I'm a senior lecturer at Now University of Nigeria, Software Engineering and Information Technology Department. Happy to be here today to share my experience with you all regarding the PTDF scholarship.
Yeah, thank you so much. Happy to have you here once again. So yes, if you okay, they said they can hear you. Awesome. So if you have any questions as we start, please drop a question in the. I think there's a comment. There's the question mark section where you can drop your questions, or you can even drop in the comments, and I'll be happy to read it out. So please feel free to drop your questions as we go through the PTDF Overseas Scholarship. So like I said, Dr. Bilkisu and I, we've been together since how many years now? 2011 back in Manchester. So it's been almost 12 years. Wow. Time flies.
Time
So yeah,
flies, right?
we've been all the way back. Like it's been years, and it's of
Yes,
course we
yes.
don't see each other like I can't remember the last time I see her, but of course we see our WhatsApp status, always checking on each other, and all. And
Yeah.
that I think that's one thing about education. In as much as people would say, "Oh, education is overrated," for some people, I do see comments on social media, and I'm just like, education is
No, it's
not.
not.
Education is
It's not.
I've been able to build strong network relationships
Yeah.
from going to school. Most
School.
of my
Yeah.
friends today are my university friends. That's the truth. I have friends that are colleagues, but I think I would say like I have very solid friendship with people I went to school with. You know, like having
So,
to go through all the stress together, studying
uh-huh,
together, beating those
uh-huh.
deadlines. Oh, Manchester was Manchester
Yeah, my channel was crazy.
yeah, it was crazy. So yeah,
A
having
1 year master is never an easy feat. In fact, it wasn't even a year for us. I think it was just 10 months for us.
honestly,
It was a 10
because
months master's program. So that was quite intensive.
it
Very,
was very
very intensive.
I could hardly breathe. I remember I'll go to our rooms, be
Yes,
together till 1 a.m.
night.
in the morning, 12 midnight. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we are grateful to God, and
Yeah.
yes, we are happy to be sharing our
We're happy.
experiences
Yeah.
with their application processes,
Yeah.
admission, scholarship. So yes, awesome. So over to you, Dr. Bilki. So can you please tell
Okay.
us what the PTDF overseas scholarship means? Like you've been there, you've gone through their process, you've read everything about them in the past. So what does it
Yeah.
mean?
So the PTDF scholarship, PTDF again stands for the Petroleum Technology Development Funds. So it's a federal government agency that has that mandate to train indigenous people, that's we Nigerians, up to graduate level. There's certain funds that has been reserved for this sole purpose of just training young Nigerians to be experts in various fields, especially like in engineering, fields related in general to like the petroleum and gas industry. So engineering, management, sciences, and all of that. They train us, and not just university graduates. Actually, there's also another one for like people that want to be like craftsmen and technicians. So it's quite encompassing. Like it caters for all levels of Nigerians. If you, as long as you just want to train, PTDF has something for it. So the overseas scholarship specifically, that's the OSS, is the one geared towards training us to graduate level. So that's for master's and PhD programs.
Oh, awesome,
So
amazing. So did you hear that you can even actually for if you know anyone that I think skilled workers, right? That would
yes, skilled
like to
workers
yeah,
that would like
improve
to
their
train to be like technicians, maybe these technicians that work with pipes, welding, and all of that. They train them as well. They have their own scholarship program, but the OSS is the one for graduate school.
wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then the OSS, that's the overseas, but I heard there's
Yeah.
another one for Nigerians in Nigeria, like the
Nigeria,
ones going to
yes.
Nigerian institutions. Okay.
Yes, yes. So if you want, if you don't want to go abroad for your graduate studies, that's for masters. They as well sponsor you to train, and it's full sponsorship as well, because at now we train PTDF scholars as well at masters level, but that one is just for masters. So it covers their tuition. They give you something for your upkeep, accommodation, and all daily upkeep aside your tuition. I think they also give something for a laptop, especially for those coming to MSc programs like in computer science. They would need to buy a laptop. So the fund covers all of that. So even if you choose not to go abroad, you might want to explore that part of the PTDF scholarship program. It's a good one as well. Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. That's awesome. So like
Yeah.
okay, I think before we get to the whole what it covers abroad, I
Yeah.
would like to ask what are the eligibility criteria that they actually consider in the selection
So
process?
the eligibility criteria: first, you must be a Nigerian. You must have graduated from the university. You must have completed your NYSC program. So those ones are basic. So for the master's program, I think the minimum is 2-1 if you don't have any experience. But of recent, it was updated. If you have a 2-2 and you have relevant industry experience, then you are also eligible to apply.
Interesting. Okay,
Then, of
awesome.
course, yeah, you are so 2-2 is also eligible as long as you have certain industry experience, meaning you've secured a job. Let's say you've worked for 2-3 years, you are eligible with a 2-2 as well. So that aside, of course, you must be computer literate. We are in the 21st
Digital
century,
world,
2020. You
digital
must be
age.
computer literate. In fact, for those applying for masters, the exam during my time, we wrote like the pen and paper kind of exam, but now it's all online. So you'll be expected to be a computer literate. Then going back also, the 5 level credits requirement at O level is still a requirement for the scholarship, because some people manage, I don't know, to get through the university without having it, but again, they still come back to check. So you might have a 2-1, and if you are deficient in your O levels, then that might disqualify you. So ensure you have your 5 O level credits, and this must include English and mathematics. Then for MSc, you also need to write a statement of purpose, which is like a maximum of just 500 words. Essentially, you just need to state the reasons why do you want to go to graduate school, what is motivating you, what's the relevance of the program you want to go for as it applies to the petroleum and gas sector, and what would be the impact of that course you are going to read on our national development. So that essentially is what your statement, because it's just 500 words. You don't want to just stray and start wasting your words. You want to make every single word count. So this might take you a lot of time, really, because of course you go over draft, but essentially you must get it. Ensure you state your reasons why, what is motivating you for graduate school, what is the relevance of the course to the petroleum and gas sector, and what would be the impact on our national development as a whole.
Wow.
Then, because the application is also online now, you must have your NIN. The NIN is part of what you need to register for the scholarship online. So yes,
Wow.
you need your NIN and you must verify it. So I think that's all for the masters. But in addition to that, for PhD, the minimum is also 2-2. If you have 2-2, because of course for PhD, I think it is now exclusive kind of for academics, because there are additional criteria you might not be able to meet if you are not an academic. So things like publication, I'm still going to talk about that. So minimum of 2-2 in your first degree, and of course a very good second degree. So your masters, the transcript must show that you have a very, because masters, there's nothing like first class, second class, or third class, but they want to see that you have a very good results for your masters. Then, because it's a PhD program, it's going to be research intensive. You must have written a very good research proposal that is also relevant to the oil and gas sector of Nigeria. The limitation with this is that your proposal cannot go more than, the maximum is 5 pages. So of course you have your topic, introduction, your objectives must be smart, and your methodology, you must give them a hint and how you intend to collect data, if it's going to be empirical and all of that. You must capture a lot and concise. Imagine just 5-page proposal. And of course, literature review is not really mentioned there, but I always advise people, you can't even write a proposal without reading. So you must do like a comprehensive literature review to be able to come up with a very solid proposal. So because again, it's for academics, your vice chancellor must confirm that you are currently not a recipient of any other scholarship before they actually screen you for the next stage as a PhD applicant. Then the NIN also applies. You must also have your NIN to apply for the PhD scholarship.
Wow.
So those are the requirements.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing all of that. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the PTDF Overseas Postgraduate Scholarship for Masters and PhD programs. So today we have Dr. Bilkisu with us, who was once a PTDF scholarship recipient, and we met at the University of Manchester, where then she came with a PTDF scholarship. You can imagine then how it was. It was fully funded, but definitely I will let her go into the extra, like what was funded and what wasn't funded.
Yes.
So I would like to ask, like, so which programs are covered by the PTDF scholarship? So in terms of, I've heard like this whole, oil, you have to be in the oil and gas. I remember applying for PTDF scholarship then, and I went for the exam and boom, they didn't select me. So I think I saw a question. Someone said they didn't even send an email. I think it was even published in the newspaper there. So you have to go and get the newspaper and read through. Back
Can
then, I
read
don't even
through.
know about the process now. If your name is not there, that's the answer to your question. Don't expect an email. They didn't select you. So I always went for that exam. We'll still talk about the exam because I really want to know too,
Yeah.
like what was that process
So
about? So
the
yes, so
thing
what are the
is,
programs covered?
there are quite a number of courses, but actually it's on their portal now. So there are like 71,
Wow.
71 schools, but still a lot of courses. But
Okay.
I just looked at them, and broadly, if I'm to categorize them, they fall under these following fields like engineering, geology, science and management, all related to the petroleum sector. But of recent, some other fields have also been included. So um, I saw a course related to kind of law, but still related to petrol. So some universities have such specialized courses. So I think it's important you check that the course you intend to go and study is actually covered as well. But these are the broad categories. Any engineering course or geology, science and management related to the petroleum sector, it's okay. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember someone who actually went to England back then, or was it
Yeah.
Scotland, to study? Yes, I think it was Scotland, oil and gas law, and the person
Law,
won the
yes.
PTDF scholarship. Yes.
Yes. So I'm sure the person must have been able to convince them. Maybe if it's like PhD, for example, your proposal will speak for you that really you must just show them how that course is relevant to the oil and gas sector.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the
So
environment.
compared to our own time, really, they've added a lot of courses.
Oh,
So
amazing.
the onus is on you now, the applicant. You know how we do these things now. You have to package yourself and show
Yes.
them how you are relevant. That course you want to read is relevant to the oil
Relevant.
and gas sector.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's all about doing the homework and packaging. That's it.
Yeah. So like I just saw the environmental one, of course. If I was going to study anything environmental, oil and gas is all about
Yes.
the environment, right?
That's,
So
thank you.
I
Yeah.
would package that application
It's
such
all
that
about packaging. Yes. It's all
exactly
about
to fit
packaging.
in. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so what is the step-by-step process for applying for the PTDF scholarship?
Yeah. So the entire process is online. They've it's not paper based as it was before. So the entire process is online. I took notes of the steps here. So let me just glance through my notes. So first, before I even start, universities in the UK, Germany, France, and Malaysia, these four countries are the only countries considered.
Oh.
But of course, like I said, there are 71 universities, quite a lot. So, and in the application process, so for the first very step, you need to create like an account, okay, on their portal. It's a very simple process. All you need is like your name, email, and phone number. Please always verify all these things. You know how these things are, because they will send an email to you and you need to click on that link on your email for you to now actually now create a password for that email. So once they verify your email is valid, you will now be able to set your password. Then go back to the portal, log in with that password, and then you can proceed. So the very next thing, once you've done the account setup, is for you to now verify your NIN. So you be expected to verify your NIN, and the verification process involves like an external body, NIMC. So charges may apply for the NIN verification. So I saw a note also that says if you might have applied before on that same portal, and maybe maybe you had issues while verifying your NIN, you shouldn't try to verify again. Rather, you should go. There will be a link provided that says that there's a link for failed NIN verifications. So if you click on that and enter your payment details and reference number and your NIN again, it will be able to verify you without charging you for the NIN verification again. So I thought that was important. So next, you also need to agree to the PTDF terms and condition. So the whole story is all about you certifying that the information you are providing on their portal is totally correct. You've not lied or misrepresented yourself in your application. because such falsifications will lead to automatic disqualification, even in future applications. So essentially, if you are not truthful, you get blacklisted for life. You can't even try again. You also confirm that you are giving PTDF the right to share your name and scholarship info via various media, television, radio, and all of that. So, because some people have, in the past, I heard, they have issues with this. So before you even proceed, they now make you agree to these terms, okay? So after agreeing to that, that is when you will now be given access to the form. So it's a very simple form where you'll be expected to fill all the form fields with your details. You also be expected to upload certain documents. So you need to pay attention, for example, to the maximum file sizes that have been indicated for each of the documents you have to upload. Because if it exceeds that size, you will not be able to upload and you cannot proceed with your application. So it's very important. There are tools online that could help you do that. So for example, if your certificates are like JPEG images and all that, and it's beyond that, there are tools that can help you kind of bring down the size of that document. So please use those tools to ensure you get the very right size to be able to upload all the required documents. So next, after filling in your details and uploading the documents, that's your certificates, the next thing you now need to do is to now make your selection for 3 course info. So for your course info, they need the first, second, and third choice of a course, first, second, and third choice of a university, and then first, second, and third choice of a country. Remember, there are 4 countries that are covered, I mentioned earlier. So you have liberty to choose universities and courses in all these 4 countries. And you can specify your first, second, and third choice. But again, they have a note there that says PTDF still reserves the right to send you to any other university apart from your choice. You need to agree to that as well, because sometimes that actually happens. Maybe the university you want maybe might not actually give you the admission, or maybe they have MOUs with these universities and they need to send certain number of students to them. So sometimes some universities are more popular than the others and they still want to send students to this university. So you might fall into that category. And for them to avoid trouble with you in future, they also make you agree that you don't mind them sending you to another university.
Got it.
Okay? Yeah. So after that, I think you also need to upload additional documents. So the quota system, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, still applies here. For some people, really, it's something fortunate, but for some people, it's an unfortunate situation. So because of that, the additional documents required are your birth certificate and your local government certificate. Okay, so if you don't have that now, please start processing it. You need to upload your local government certificate. The file size, the maximum file size is 300 kilobytes. Also, for those that are applying for a PhD, so you also have an additional document to upload. So they expect you to upload maximum of 5 of your publications, and also evidence that you belong to any professional body based on your field. So professional membership also counts for you. You must upload evidence, maximum of 5 each. 5 for professional membership, 5 for publications. Then after that, all that is left to do is just for you to preview your application, to check that everything is correct again. Please don't misrepresent before you now submit. So the entire process, like I said, is online. It's really easy compared to our own time. All you need to do is get all these documents ready for your application.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
That's well detailed. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but the NIN part, if you don't have the NIN
If you
and you
don't
want to apply,
have your NIN, please go get your NIN. You can't even start the COCO process without the NIN. Yeah.
NIN, yeah.
You can't
Okay.
go beyond creating an account. So you just get stuck there, get the NIN before you can proceed. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. So I think a lot must have changed in the
A
within the
lot
past few
has
years.
changed. When I applied, it was paper based. We had to send everything. Imagine me posting transcripts, sending by DHL to meet the deadline and all of that. I still had to travel to go and write the exam in my state. Imagine, it was so inconvenient. But now everything is just online and so easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, so I think this part, you've covered most of the details, but I just
yeah.
want to confirm, what are the various stages applicants must undergo to be selected? Because I remember back then,
Okay,
I wrote
yeah,
an exam. Do they
yes.
still need to write the exam? Because that exam part
But
wasn't it? And like you said about the quota, there were so many people from my own state. And so there were certain
yeah,
states that we had like 700, 800 people. And then I saw
there's
some states,
people.
just 11 people. I should have been part of these 11 people states,
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So
So
that's the unfortunate aspect. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So the exam for those going for MSc, you still have to write an exam because the truth is that this scholarship is competitive. It's true that it's our money, it's our commonwealth. But again, who will they give this money to go for it? So it's really
I
competitive.
know.
And like unfortunately, so you are competing against each other to just be the top scorers from your state, essentially. So
Mm.
the only thing that also maybe might count, maybe for females, they always, I don't know if it's one per state now or maybe one per geopolitical zone. They still consider that because of the quota system thing, they are trying to balance the thing. But in your own interest, you are aiming to be one of the, if they are selecting, let's say 5 per state, you are aiming to be that top 5 across the nation because the exams will be written in several centers across the nation. So you are not just in competition with people in your center, you are in competition with people in other centers. So you just want to make it to that top 5 if it's 5 per state.
Wow, 5, that's too small.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, they might have increased the number. I think my own time it was like 5 per state.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's for PhD, you don't need to write an exam. But you see that proposal, it must make a lot of sense, and you must be able to defend it. So that's where some people who actually have very good proposals, but they cannot defend it,
Mm.
unfortunately. So they get dropped. So for masters, once you pass that exam and they select you, you are it's like
It's over.
rubber stamps. It's over.
Wow,
Yes,
awesome.
it's over. Like in my own time, I actually got it a year before I left because I got married, I was pregnant, and I knew within myself that no, I cannot cope because I've never traveled abroad. Now, so I knew I just couldn't cope on my own. First time delivering, no, I just chose to defer. Unfortunately for me, they couldn't even secure an admission for me. So I
Wow.
had like 2 grounds to defer. I was pregnant, and two, even PTDF didn't get me a school. But what I did was to now go ahead to find myself that admission before the following year so I could take on my scholarship. So it's really, really competitive.
Yeah, I remember
So
when
for
we were.
PhD, yeah, for PhD, that proposal is like what will make or break because essentially every other applicant will have everything because it's for those in academia now. So of
Yeah.
course, maybe the strength of your publications too, but I don't really think that would weed applicants out. But if you are not able to have a very solid proposal and also have the ability to be able to defend it the way
Different.
you've packaged it, then it might not be helpful for your application process. So once the
Yeah.
interview, that defense is over for PhD also, they make their final list and select. Yeah.
Awesome. So for PhD,
There are
do they
always more there are always more candidates for masters than PhD. So I think for masters they should have increased to like 10 now. I was
honestly?
trying to look for the list for last year. They've increased the number per state now. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
But
That
for
would be
PhD
great.
it's still very few. Yes.
Yeah, because I can imagine. So for PhD, do they have to write exams as well?
No,
Okay, just interview.
it's just yeah, the proposal they submit and them coming for an interview.
Mm.
And the
Awesome.
interview really is about the proposal because they'll bring in experts in your field to interview you. And of course, you also need to demonstrate that you have that grit and you're enthusiastic about graduate school and you just essentially that you know your onions, you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, and defend the proposal. That's what the interview is all about.
Yeah, I think I know like 5 people who have won the a PhD
PhD
PTDF
scholarship.
scholarship. Yeah, they went to the UK. But
Yeah.
I don't know anyone recently, but it was like about 5 years ago. Then it was like the thing, like UK is
Yeah.
PTDF scholarship. So
Yeah.
awesome. Good to know. So then, back the way you were preparing, so now that exam is still part of the process, what were
Yes.
the preparation materials that you used to prepare for the exam? Because I remember when I didn't prepare for the exam, I just went to the exam hall and then I saw people reading
You're
things.
reading.
Like, what are they reading? And then I met some people that even told me that they had come repeatedly. So this is like their
Yes.
fifth year
Fifth
coming
time.
to write the PTDF exam. And when we go to the exam, they were really writing and doing all the calculations. Like, oh my, I didn't prepare for this type of exam. So how did you prepare and what were the preparation materials you used?
Yeah. So like in my own case too, I actually got the scholarship on my second trial. I didn't get it the first time I wrote the exam, but I got it the following
So
year.
can you hear
So
now
I
people that give up from
don't
one
give up. Oh,
application, because some people they will say, oh yeah, I applied first time and they didn't, and they will move on.
and
Rejection
no,
is
no,
part
no.
of the process.
Rejection is part of the
You
process. You just learn from
need
it and
to
come back stronger
exactly lessons.
and
What are
come
the
back
lessons
stronger.
learned?
So the lessons learned in as much as I prepared the first time, I just didn't prepare enough, or maybe sometimes complacency. You just because I was already working then as well too, but I came back the following year. So basically, it's just like this IELTS exam of a thing. A secondary school leaver can pass that exam, and
Exactly.
you will be struggling to. It's just
As a
about.
graduate.
It's a mindset thing. So weeks before the exam, like you need to be conscious about you preparing towards that. It's a mindset thing for me. So it's the normal GMAT material, all these IELTS materials for the English part, GMAT for maths and all of that. You just need to start practicing again. In fact, if you can even get this all these exams for WAEC, they put you in that mood also to be able to solve all those kinds of questions. So it's just about you getting your mindset to be able to write such exams. It's not as if it's difficult. Yes, it's not difficult. It's just that most people just don't prepare, or they don't prepare enough, or they
Enough. I think
underestimate. Yeah, because remember, it's highly competitive and you are aiming for the top 5, or let's say top 10
that's
nationwide. So you really need to prepare. You really need to put in the extra
it.
effort to say, no, I'm not even giving 1 mark out. I must get everything. So, and for you to do that, you must have been practicing.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe except for the exceptionally gifted ones, that if they give them even WAEC today, they will still pass
They'll
it
still
without
pass the
preparing.
juniors.
But for
Yes.
people like us that just need to get into that zone, like weeks before, I was just conscious about getting those books back and just practicing, even if it's 2 hours a day. Just do it and ensure you are doing it consistently. So you are already in that zone before you go and face the exam. It won't Questions like that won't get you unawares again. You know what to expect and be able to tackle it. Time is also a factor. They don't give you enough time in that exam.
I
So
agree.
you really need to move really fast to solve the questions and answer accurately and efficiently.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of those. I didn't prepare. I just went, took myself, me,
Mm.
myself, and I. We just went to the exam hall,
So,
and then I now saw the number of people from my state.
uh,
I just gave
uh,
up. I wrote the exam, but like you said, the time wasn't enough. I
no,
wasn't prepared enough. So there were some basic questions I couldn't answer just because I didn't remember some formulas, to be able to
exactly.
use and
Exactly.
apply for those questions.
I,
So
I know
it
the way the
was
brain works. If you had seen that formula just in a textbook, just few days, you would remember.
I
So
agree.
it's just about that. It's not as if the questions are difficult, but you need to prepare. Yeah.
So like you said, you need to prepare.
Get into that zone. It's a serious exam. Like,
I know. I
yeah.
actually thought it wasn't going to be serious. Like, is it not Nigerian exam? What would they bring? What we've done
Party.
this there. So I just went as well. Just went to for the exam and boom, I wasn't prepared enough. So yes, to prepare. Do
Yeah.
you need to attend to someone, Dr. Bilkisu?
No, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Somebody is getting the door.
Okay, I think you've spoken about how the selection process is done, so we don't really need to go into that anymore. So,
Yeah.
what are the key things to note about the application process? I think we already spoke about the essay. So, is it just one essay for the master's program? And is it just
Statement
the
of
statement of
purpose.
purpose? Okay.
Statement of purpose for the masters, and then for the PhD, the big deal is that proposal. You
Okay.
must have a solid research proposal. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, based on your experience, so tell us what are the things that the PTDF scholarship would cover? What are the things that they
Ah,
covered for you?
they covered
Visa,
everything
flights.
worth covering. No,
Oh
they
wow.
will get you your visa.
So
Like
they
you
paid
just
for the
need to,
visa.
if I remember correctly, yeah, of course they paid. I just needed to provide myself for my biometric capture. And in fact, they even still took me there. I reported at the PTDF office. They will convey you to the embassy where they will capture you, or the VFS office, or wherever they do the biometric capture. And then when it's ready, they call you, you get your passport. The day before you travel, they give you your little allowance to hold. So it covers everything. They get you your flight ticket. It's a return ticket. So if I remember, then I just needed to contact them when I was done with the program, and then they would issue you with the return
Okay.
tickets. You understand? So it covers flights to and fro. It covers your tuition. They give you stipend, monthly stipend, which in my own case, trust me, is more than enough because I was able to save and bring something back home from my monthly stipend. So it covers that. They also give us something, I don't know what that allowance was called, but it was a one-off allowance, maybe for books or something, or towards your project. But it was something just one off.
Wow.
And it was substantial too.
Okay.
So yeah, it covers everything. Of course, accommodation. For me, I stayed in the university accommodation and I didn't need to pay a dime. It means they paid for me. So it covers accommodation as well. And I was getting my monthly stipend till the end.
Wow. So all you just have to do is bring yourself to school.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I just needed to bring myself to school and study. I didn't
Awesome.
need to worry about anything at all.
Yeah, I like that.
And like in my own case, because it was a school accommodation, I didn't even need to worry about bills. I only needed to worry about feeding myself. That's
Buying
all.
the food,
Or
buying the food actually.
buying the food and clothes for myself
Mm.
and the books. And
And you
so I
had the
didn't
money.
need to worry about anything. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So you've read all about the PTDF scholarship, what
Yeah.
it covers, yeah. And I think if there's someone I know that actually experienced fully funded scholarship is Dr. Bilkisu, because even the Japanese next scholarship too was something similar, right? Your flight,
Yes.
everything was covered.
Yes. Everything was covered.
So
Yes.
she is actually the fully funded scholarship baby. Because
Yeah.
even
We
like
thank
the
God for scholarship.
university scholarships in the US wouldn't cover your flight tickets. They'll
Oh,
cover every
really?
other thing, but your visa and yes, they wouldn't cover all of that. You need to find your way to school. When you now
Just
get to school, okay, they will take care of
the
that. But yeah, there
I
are
see.
still other external scholarships, the MasterCard, all of those other. There are still so many scholarships out there
Yeah.
that would fund everything, cover everything, just like Dr. Bilkisu has said.
Yes.
And you don't have, you just need to make sure you get to school. Just get off the plane, and find your way to school and bring your whole self and do well. So I
And
have a
do
question.
well.
The PTDF
Yeah.
scholarship, is it mandatory that you go back to your home country or it's based on choice?
It's based on choice.
Oh,
They don't have
nice.
any such clause that you must go back.
Oh, okay. Unlike the Chevening Commonwealth scholarship
Yes,
where you have to
they
go back
don't
to the country.
they don't have any such
Oh,
clause. Yeah.
that's amazing. So it was just like your own choice, like I'm going back home to my family. Awesome.
Yeah. Which is really rather unfortunate because they have the mandate to train young Nigerians to be relevant, but again, I don't blame them because they are not making the jobs readily available for scholars that are returning. So of course it makes logical sense for them not to have that clause to mandate people to come back. No, they
Yeah, so
don't
probably
mandate it.
like a message to PTDF to
Yes,
help people secure jobs when they come
yes.
back. Because you don't want
When
to
they
be a
come
scholar and
back,
then
you
come
don't want
back
to
and then
exactly.
sit
So
down.
what will Nigeria gain by training scholars abroad and not getting them back? They are it's like brain drain now.
I agree. Yeah, true.
Yeah, so they need to work on that aspect of the policy,
I
really.
can
Really.
imagine like working at that pace, the pace we worked with at the University of Manchester,
Yes,
that pace, and then coming back home to just sit down, to become
yes, to
irrelevant.
just,
I think you can even go into depression if you're not careful. So you
yes, yes,
need to watch it. Yeah, I agree. Because
yeah,
it was a lot. Our brain was so active. My brain was working at 200%, probably, because
yes, yes,
it was really coming back, and then you become what? There's no job.
yeah.
You can't even get a job within the
You
first
can't
six
even get a
months.
job yet.
No, yeah, I agree.
In
Yeah,
fact,
they
that
should
was when I
PTDF.
went into academics now, which of course I still thank God today. I'm doing well in academics. It was then I said to just let me just go back to the classroom. And
Yeah,
fortunately, it paved way for me to go for my PhD as well. So yeah.
yeah. I
So
think
message to PTDF
I,
too. They need to work on that really. So take for example with the MEX scholarship. It's the Japanese government that is sponsoring me a full scholarship, and they are mandating me to come back to Nigeria
go
to be
back to your
relevant.
country and be relevant. Yeah,
You understand? It's not as if like they enforce it too. I could have chosen to go elsewhere from Japan, but at least they had that clause there that I'll come back to Nigeria to be relevant. They are not even saying I should stay in Japan. If you choose to stay, they will allow you. You can also choose. The only thing is that return ticket now that okay, I'm done. I've gotten my PhD degree. If you don't apply for it, then you don't get it.
get
You
it.
understand?
Wow.
But they've provisioned for you to finish, and they'll buy you that ticket and say, oh yeah, bye bye, go back to Nigeria and be useful to your country.
Yeah, which I like. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, PTDF. I hope you do better.
Yeah.
Especially with people that are done with their programs. They're already doing good, like awesome, sending people abroad. But for
Yeah.
people that actually
For
want to
people
come
that
back.
come back, yes,
And
to
yes,
build the
I think Nigeria is
nation.
blessed to have you in the academic world. Trust me, because
Yeah.
I know what you are capable of. To an extent, I know your abilities. So I think Nigeria is blessed. If they really understand what that means, they should keep you. We need people like you in the academic world
Academia.
there, and definitely because your efficiency, you know your stuff, you know your onions, you are smart. I worked with you, and I remember
Mm.
there, I'll be like, Bilkins, have you done this? And you'll be like, yes, I'm finished. Me, I'm just starting, And I'm like, within which time, because we usually have like a very short period
Short
to get assignment done,
period.
but you were really efficient. And definitely till now, I still refer back to it like, so like Bilkis would have done this so fast. So those are the things like moving with people that are smart. These
Yeah,
are some of
yeah.
the advantages,
I needed
that
I
you gain. Because I
needed
still
to
apply
adapt quickly
some of
because
those skills
I went through my own days
yesterday.
of crying to them. If I remember correctly, my very first coursework was it for Professor Ulis Kozambijan. I scored 0.
I remember
And,
you
and I
crying.
and I cried my heart out
I remember, but that we didn't give
because
up, right?
it
We're
was the
just
first.
like
I've never scored 0 in anything in my
in
life
your
before. I
life.
was like, how can I come to Obodo Ibo and be scoring 0?
We'll still come
So
back to
I,
the
I knew
reality
I, I
of
knew I needed to
studying
adapt. So
abroad.
I just adapted. I was like, no, there's no slacking here. If the deadline is 2 weeks from now, I must have been done 2 weeks before. So
Before
like I
then.
was working, I was not even using their own timeline. I was using my own timeline, which I've now just to be able to adapt and not slack behind. And it worked for me eventually.
Yeah, the first 6 weeks at Manchester was really tough. I
It
know,
was
like
tough, yeah.
it was like 6 years for me, but yeah, we passed that
We
stage. We've done
passed.
PhD. We thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we'll come back one day. I'll host like a program on
Yeah.
actually navigating that studying abroad. I know everybody says studying abroad. It seems so easy because everybody's going.
Yeah,
Truth is,
going,
they don't
yes.
tell you the reality. The realities.
Honestly,
Oh,
expectation versus reality.
oh my God, the expectations are totally different
They
from
are
the
totally
reality. But when you get
different
there,
from, yeah.
yeah, I would host something in the maybe the
Okay,
nearest
yeah,
future on that. Okay,
yeah.
so there, I just want to quickly go through some of the questions. Someone asked,
Okay.
"Is PTDF strictly merit based, or do you have to have top connections?"
Well, according to them, it is merit based, though with a pinch of quota system. If you know what the quota system is all about, and also, there's also this additional criteria for gender balance, because they've had cases whereby the top scorers in, here we have 36 states plus Abuja 37. The top scorers, let's say in like 30 states, might be all guys, no single female. So when they observed that, they now created like another like special slot for, I'm not sure now if it's one female per state or one female per geopolitical zone. So for that one, she might not be the maybe top scorer, but just to balance. So it means, let's say in Kaduna State, for example, if the top scorers from 1 to 30 were all guys and she was the 31st, they will pick her along with the first 10, sorry, the first 9. They will pick her just to balance.
10.
Yes, yes. That's my understanding. Yeah. So they do that.
No,
but of course, we all know the Nigerian factor too, but based on what is on paper, that is what they do. They pick the top scorers and also use the quota system to balance for such factors like females not making it in so many states. Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think that question is answered. So merit based.
Like in my own case, honestly, I didn't know anybody. Like I said, I didn't get it the first year, but I came back stronger the second year and I got it.
Give it to them.
And I made that merit list for my state. Yeah.
Yeah, proud of you as always.
Yeah.
So Gbemi is asking, but they say you must be in the oil and gas sector. Please clarify. I think you kind of clarified this.
Yeah, it's all about packaging. Tell me, read accounting. Go and think of how to package yourself as an accountant to be relevant in oil and gas. Don't they have accountants doing their books? So it's all about how you know how to package yourself to show them that you are indeed relevant. There is no course that is irrelevant. Even if you are an administrator, they need administrators in oil and gas sector.
Exactly. Who would help them with the administrative
work? Exactly. Yeah. So it's not only engineers and all of that. No, it's packaging. So and that has to do with how much homework and research you do to know how to package yourself to show them that indeed you are relevant, or the course you're aspiring to go and study is relevant to the oil and gas sector and then to Nigeria as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
So our national development, yes.
Yeah, I agree. Someone else, yeah, I know we're time-wise, we are like on time and we should end now, but just let's quickly take some of these questions. Someone asked, it's an interview process now. Okay, no exam. So I think interview process is only for the
PhD, except there's a recent, I don't know, it can be interview for, do you know how many people apply for masters? Except they will just shortlist based on your application, and trust me, those two won't even cut it. In fact, 2-1 might not even cut it, because do you know how many first class graduates our universities are producing now?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that exam still be, yeah, they will still need that exam for masters.
Okay. And then someone said, okay, there's also environmental public health. Yes, so just like you said, environmental public health. It's a good course for oil and gas, because trust me, they need a lot of public health research to actually get done in terms of the impact of the oil and gas spillage and all of those
all of that
to the environment. So the public health is key. How is veterinary medicine relevant to oil and gas, please? So we need to research.
We need to research that. We need to research that and know how to package that.
Awesome. Okay. Someone said I'll reapply for sure. Okay, she said the shortlist, then interview. So I hope this shortlisting is not.
I know that's what they do for PhD. I know that's what they do for PhD, but for masters, I'm not sure if that is what they do, and if that's what they do, if it's sustainable. Because what criteria will they use to shortlist? If we look at the eligibility criteria, thousands of people would meet it easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily, yeah.
Okay, so I have two other questions here before we end it today. Someone asked, I heard you might need to be a member of up to at least 3 professional bodies. Is that true?
It is not true. I've seen people that belong to just one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll use myself as an example. I belong to just CPN, Computer Professionals of Nigeria. That's all. I didn't even join NCS. Maybe as a student I joined NACOS. So it is not true. They just want maximum of 5,
Oh,
but
okay.
belong to one. Yeah,
Okay.
at least one. Yeah.
One. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, but please, if you are applying for school, just read through go to their website. I think it's PTDF. It's on the PTDF
Mhm.
website. Go there,
Yeah, it's
ptdf.gov.ng slash maybe scholarship
scholarships.ptdf.gov.ng. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So just go
If you
there and
put slash how to apply, you would see the steps on how to apply. Everything is online. Just get your documents ready before you start the process to have a seamless one. And of course, your NIN. NIN is now very important.
okay. Thank you for sharing. And then the
Yeah.
last question for today, we are allowed to choose 3 courses.
Yes.
What will the statement of purpose look like? So I believe the 3 courses should still be related, right? Or can you
Yes.
pick environmental here, computing here, engineering there?
I'm sure you can already see how that will make your statement of purpose not coherent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because again, your statement of purpose, 3 key things. What is motivating you as a person? Why do you want to go for that master's program? It must be clear. Then 2, how is that course relevant? So your choice of courses, you should be able to kind of make them related so that it would reflect that aspect in your statement as well. And then the last key thing is the relevance to our national development.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr.
You're
Biokiso. I think
welcome.
we've covered all the questions. So she has told you how to actually write your statement of purpose. If you need someone to review, a professional review, reach out to me at the scholarship quiz. We'll definitely provide the essay review service. It's definitely cutting it too close because it's 24th of
It's
March and
24th.
usually at
Mm-hmm.
least 1 week to review your essay because it's going to be your own story. No one is writing for you. So you have your
Yes.
draft. You need someone to help you solidify it, structure it, and ask you more. Sometimes you have it in you, but you are not telling that story. So someone
Telling
to
it
actually
well.
push you to
Yes.
bring out that story, that's the unique story that you have. Then reach out to me at the scholarship quiz, and I'll be happy to put you through to help you review your essay. And also, if you are interested in applying for other types of scholarships in the future, like this year against 2024 admission process, you can reach out as well. I provide coaching services, monthly coaching services for people, and also accountability groups. And definitely, I don't apply for people. I'll teach you how to apply because if you apply for masters, for example, it's going to go
Mm-hmm.
beyond just masters.
Yeah.
How about PhD? When you want to apply for PhD, you
PSG.
don't need someone applying for you again. At that level, you just take all the knowledge you have and then you apply it to your PhD application, and then you go from there. And even if it's for masters, you just want your application to stand out to increase your chances of winning, reach out to me. I'm Dr. Bolale Solomon Adewusi, and yes, it's so glad having you here. I'm so happy to have you here. So it's been great talking to you about the PTDF scholarship, Dr. Bilkisu
Yeah, it's been great talking
Mohammed
to you
Bello.
too. Yeah.
Thank you so much for always answering the call, the scholarship quiz call, to join us and
You're
share all the
welcome.
information about the first time was Japanese Mex and now PTDF scholarship.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate you. And there's someone, last question, was the course I studied really with what I want to study for my master's, especially as I haven't worked with my BSc. Okay, so must the course I study relate with what I want to study for my master's, especially as I haven't worked with my BSc? I think the question here is, what if the academic background is different from their current work experience? Can they actually apply for a program related to their work experience, or it has to be a program that is related to their undergraduate program,
Okay.
undergraduate degree?
Yeah, so it's a tricky one because some schools won't give you admission if your background is not relevant to the advanced course. That is what PGD pathway is meant to bridge that gap. So it all depends. Some universities might not give you admission just because of that. So I would always advise that even if you are like differing, don't differ too much. Don't change too much. Yes, it might affect your application, because even in getting you the admission, the schools might just showed you that you do not meet their criteria for admission for a master's program because your bachelor's is in another field
Field.
and you've not breached that gap with a postgraduate diploma. So it's not always advisable.
Yeah.
For some courses that are similar, it might be okay for you to just, because they believe you have sufficient background already with your bachelor's. Yeah.
Bachelor.
But
Yeah.
if they are too divergent, please don't do that. It would affect your application.
And I think to add to that, I think
Mm.
based on my experience with different clients I've worked with, if you have like a number of years of experience in a particular field, and then you want to take it at that level, use your SOP. Like someone said, your SOP must be convincing. Yes.
Convincing.
Make sure you're able to tell your story very well, like, oh, why you had to move to this new field and what you have done, what you have been able to achieve in the measurable achievements, and then the impact you've made with it, maybe in your society, in that small world, or maybe it's even global.
Yes.
And then you can now tell that story and use it to apply for a different program that might be different from what you studied. But definitely, there must have been something, either a work experience or that underlying academic background, which is your BSc. So
then
make
to
sure
be on the safe, to be on the safe side also, since you already know the name of the school and the program, it doesn't hurt you to go to their website and actually check the eligibility criteria. Because in as much as PTDF is trying to help you secure that admission, there's a limit to what they can do. So some schools are really not flexible in giving admission if you don't meet their eligibility criteria. They just weed out your application. So go and check and be sure that you can have a way around what you want. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Some schools or even some programs. Some programs will tell you if you don't have a bachelor's in engineering in that, don't bother. And some people say they take anyone from any field, like irrespective of your field, you can apply for this program.
You can apply. Yes.
So make sure you read that eligibility criteria. Is
very important.
Yeah. It's been wonderful having you today, Dr. Bekisu. Thank you for always answering the call. Really
Thanks
appreciate
for having
it. Thank
me.
everyone for joining today and for your questions. And yes, it's been amazing. I'll put up the replay for people that just joined or people that didn't watch all through. And yes, hoping to have another live session soon. And thank you once upon an introvert for your great comments. Use your NYC as your work experience, your CWS, your internship is relevant. Volunteer at the workplace or even during your program, volunteer. So all those can count for you as a work experience. It's been amazing having you all. Thank you, everyone, and have a good day. Bye.
Have a great day too. Bye.